I'm Vanessa Snowden-Carr. I'm a clinical psychologist and I work for eWeight Loss, which is an independent company based in the southwest of England. I've worked in bariatrics since about 2009, specialising in bariatric surgery and weight management, and I've set up and led a service within the NHS, which I no longer do. So the Allurion programme is really useful in terms of who it's useful to treat with. So really it's a broad spectrum from people who are lower weight, who wouldn't qualify for bariatric surgery, but also people who are more complex in their presentation. So as a psychologist, one of the things that I would be thinking about is if a person needed to go on to have further surgery, how safe are they? And there are issues that impact on safety with regards to understanding engagement and some demonstration of that, but also thinking about risk and coping. So one of the things that the programme is fantastic for is helping people to really kind of dip their toe in a very safe way. And the programme is set up with the tools that go with it, so the scales and the app and the tracker, which helps with the person's responsibility and agency over change. So in terms of, I can tell you who it's not appropriate for, but otherwise actually it's for a great spectrum of people. One of the things that it's really helpful for people with regards to making longer term change is that it provides a window of time where they can focus on habits. So when a person's trying to fight their head and their body, it's incredibly difficult, and typically, physiologically, that will win over. So old patterns are repeated. So if they're able to engage with the dietitian, with the psychologist if they're in the team, with the support that's available, they can understand what are the triggers to eating. Because if your physical appetite is reduced and you're noticing cravings outside of meal times, then you can be curious about what's driving that. And because the intensity of hunger is lessened, it doesn't feel as hard to try and overcome and manage it. So the people that we work with who are most successful are those who are able to experiment with alternative strategies. And in the period of time while the balloon is in place, developing alternative coping strategies. So if food is a primary coping strategy, emotional coping strategy, over the course of the placement of the balloon, other strategies can sort of be upskilled and practiced. So when the balloon is passed, instead of food being the only emotional coping strategy, it's one of many that the person can more consciously choose between. So as a clinical psychologist, I support the team in thinking about appropriate placement. So we make sure that the person is ready and understands what the programme involves. But I meet with people post-placement to think about what their barriers to change are. So what's been their pattern historically with habit change, with eating change, and that's where we fit really well with the dietetic team. So we can think about eating habits, but more from a behavioural perspective. So I will work with someone to think about what's got stuck, where have they got stuck in the past, and what strategies do they need to adopt to be able to make that change, but also to think about what are the values that drive them. So many people will have I want to lose weight, but really what does that mean? What does it mean in a lived experience way? So I want to be more active with my children or my grandchildren. I want to feel more confident, more able to do things that I might have felt inhibited by with regards to my weight. So exploring the values a person has and how they'd like to move forward means that it moves from something abstract like a number on the scale into something that's much more useful and tangible for them to continue with. I think that one of the things with the Allurion programme is people's self-efficacy increases. So self-efficacy is the belief that one has in our ability, our capacity to change. And many of the people who come into the programme will have had years of dieting and feeling repeatedly like a failure. And so with this programme, they're able to start building confidence in their ability to manage. And that has a huge impact for self-confidence, self-esteem, self-efficacy, and their ability to make other changes. So what we see is when people start to feel like change is possible, then all sorts of incredible change occurs that is way beyond what we would expect at the beginning. And that can have a knock-on impact to all sorts of aspects of life. So people report back later on that they have gone for job promotions that they wouldn't have done previously. And part of that is about weight reduction and the confidence that comes with that. But actually I think the more important part is the self-efficacy change, is that I can do things, really hard things, when I work through it systematically. So the programme is fantastic for that.